Let's get right to discussing some safety plays. Alex Chalekian's with us, founder, CEO of Lake Avenue Financial. So you think a recession could be coming on? What's going on here, Alex? Why are you saying that?
Hi, Nicole. I definitely think that we're in the early stages of a recession right now. We basically saw last year when the Fed cut rates, we saw the rates normalize, but this recent time where they threw pretty much 50 basis points at us, and it did not help the situation. There's a lot more things that we need to worry about, where we're going to probably see more of a global recession happening slowly but surely, and the Fed is going to have to come up with something better than just lowering rates.
So the Fed just lowering rates. I mean, they've already, worked on the repo rate. You have the president talking about a payroll tax cut. You think we need both fiscal and monetary stimulus, I'm sure. What would be some of your suggestions to save the day? What do you think people are expecting?
Well, at this point, even if they cut the rates, we saw in the recently when they cut the rates, nothing happened. The markets didn't like it. They actually spooked the markets more than anything. It's one thing where you get this administration talking about both Trump, Pence, and Kudlow saying how great the economy is doing, and then they're screaming at the Fed saying lower rates. We're worried about the bond markets, corporate bond markets drying up. So we need to have that liquidity. But honestly, cutting payroll taxes, cutting the Fed rates, it's not going to help what's scaring people today in the global pandemic that we talk about with coronavirus. So other things need to be done. The president, the administration has to come up and talk about what they're doing to help slow that down or stop it or alleviate the panic that's happening here in the United States. But they're not doing that. They're talking about other things. Now, those items are definitely needed, but it's not going to help slow the global recession that we see that's looming.
What they are and aren't doing, I'll leave that alone. But I know that it's very evident when you see monetary fiscal stimulus. That's very clear and that's undeniable. Let's talk about USMV and the volatility or lack thereof, the minimum volatility. Why do you like this one? Tell me about USMV.
So one of the things that we implemented last year when our signals hit in October, we wanted to lower the risk in our clients' portfolios. One of the things that we did do is switch out of the U.S. market equities and utilize something like USMV that has a minimum volatility built in there. So you're going to get about 80% of the upside of the S&P 500, but only 50% of the downside. So even if markets do run, you'll get the upside potential, but it helps dampen the volatility and on the lower end. And that's done real well. It is down, but definitely not as bad as what the S&P. We also took a little bit.
Wait, let me ask you a question about the USMV just for a second. So,
Sure.
The yield, I see 1.9%. Tell me about rates and the rate risk with the USMV and how it's put together. Is there risk with rates?
Well, listen, the most of the rates that are coming in there is just through dividends. So they're utilizing more of the staple types of investments that have a little bit higher yield. So it's a nice cushion to have, and whether you want to reinvest that or not is totally up to the client.
Tell me more about FinTech. I think you like FinTech, right?
Yeah, I do like FinTech. I would caution that it right now is not necessarily the time to try to catch a falling knife. If you're patient, there's going to be opportunities. Technology is definitely doing well. I think you and I talked about Zoom a while back, and you can see that stock's done well. And in the marketplace that we're in, where people are concerned, business owners like ourselves, we're utilizing more and more technology like Zoom and other things, FinTech in our practice, and that's going to become more commonplace. If one thing business owners and corporate businesses are going to learn from this coronavirus is that we can cut down travel, we can change things. I myself who go to a ton of conferences just recently had 3 different conferences canceled. And so they're kind of thinking about a different way of doing that, maybe doing an online conference, and technology like that will play. But Zoom is pretty pricey at these levels. And some of the other FinTech is still pricey. I think the markets are going to kind of play this yo-yo as you're seeing today. If you find opportunities, it might not be a bad time to nibble in.
Right, I know. Yo-yo is a good word, and Zoom certainly has zoomed higher. Let's talk about Costco. Costco, a plain old, regular kind of store that we know well. Tell me your thoughts on Costco.
Well, in this environment that we're in, where the cost of toilet paper is almost or lower than the barrel of oil these days, you're seeing people run to Costco, whether good times or bad times. Costco does real well. I don't know about you, but I've never been able to leave the store without spending at least $500. We utilize it personally as well as have the business delivery. Costco is going to hit on all cylinders. You're going to see, because of all this panic buying, in the next couple of earnings, they're going to get a big spike. And then things will normalize from there, but they're definitely going to do well. I think it's a good staple to have in your portfolio as something that's a little bit more recession-proof. Nothing is 100% recession-proof, but Costco is as close as it can be.
Yeah, I'm guilty too. I've been getting everything just in case. I don't know. That's what they tell me to do. I'm just doing what I'm told. I don't know. All right, Alex.
Well, it's not a bad thing to do. It's not a bad thing to do, but just think about the fact that right now, I don't think we've even seen close to what we're going to see in the pandemic here in the States. Countries are shutting down completely. So we're going to see that. It's going to take a little while. It might take a couple of months, but once that happens here, you might see even more panic buying. So be careful and be safe out there.
I'm going to live on Ensure breakfast essentials, and I'll have plenty of toilet paper, so we'll live. Alex Chalekian, it's great to see you. Founder, CEO, Lake Avenue Financial. Thanks so much.